Hello, it's Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life here. We're doing a 10 things we love about Shenmue, the original video game on the Dreamcast, also available on all the major consoles now, both Shenmue 1 and 2, and in the future, eventually, Shenmue 3 to probably let everybody down, but we'll get to that in the future.
Optimistic?
Not after watching those trailers, man.
Oh, come on.
So yeah, Shenmue, 10 things we love. Of course, there's 10 things we hate as well. Make sure you check out that video. It's always a double love and hate. 10 things about it. This will probably be the last time in a while we cover Shenmue, I think, on the site.
Probably spoken about it.
This probably wraps it up. Yeah, we've done a flashback of Shenmue. You can go check that out as well. And it's just one of those games that regularly comes up.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say that now, and we'll have to do Shenmue 2 in the future, further down the line, and Shenmue 3.
Well, it's one of our favourites, isn't it? From
That's the thing.
Back in the day.
It's one that's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
Ignore the sound. We have a fan running because it is fucking warm in England, even at night.
Yeah, I don't think it affected the sound last time. Had it on last time, so it should be okay.
Okay, well, if you can hear it, that's what it is. That's what the buzzing is.
Apologies.
So, who wants to start?
I can start if you like.
Yeah, we might have some crossover, but
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, well, we'll give it a go.
Well, this is just quite a general one, but just the world in Shenmue in general.
Yeah.
The first time I made my way through Yamanose on the way to Dobuita, it just blew my young mind.
Okay.
It was unlike anything I had experienced at that time in video games. You know, the world and its inhabitants truly, it just feels alive, you know? Them all going about their day-to-day lives.
Alive, yeah.
Yeah. Witnessing those daily loops, it seems simplistic now when you look back at it, but at the time it just felt so special and new.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been playing it recently. I actually was trying to wrap up the 1000 gamer score. I'd never on Xbox, and I'd never actually looked at what the achievements were.
I've done that.
And I was expecting them to be a lot tougher than they were. Don't get me wrong, they're glitched as fuck.
The achievements.
Yeah, a lot of restarting and replaying bits because it wouldn't unlock and stuff like that. But yeah, so playing it like that and knowing it so well, I didn't really enjoy it. As I remember, not so much because I was playing it in a certain way, because I was still playing through the game. But I found, like, when I got to the forklift race and stuff like that, I found it really monotonous, and I was just trying to get through it every day, and I didn't care about the trophies and stuff like that. And what I found was, I was like, man, this feels so much smaller than I remember. And I was thinking, you know what? That's just because of how you think. At the time, though, what you're saying is right. That feeling of alive. And one thing that did strike me recently that I'd kind of forgotten about, I went through Dobuita really early in the morning. Like, I think it was 8:30 in the game. Really early. Nothing was open. The streets were practically empty.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've forgotten it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so used to just all the same shops, the same people, some of them change in and out and stuff like that. I'm so used to it that it was quiet and there was no one about. I was like, that is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool, you know?
Yeah, like you said, the scale of it, like, you know, compared to today's worlds, it's like tiny, but back then it felt huge, you know, a huge explorable world, and there's so many different buildings you can go into. You know, even playing again recently myself, there were buildings I went into, like, that I probably had never been into.
Right?
And I was like, what the hell, I'd never seen this place before, never spoken to that person. It seems like endlessly explorable in that way.
Yeah, because there's many places you have no rhyme or reason to ever go in.
Yeah, a lot of optional places, yeah.
The docks is one of them. Most of the warehouses are the same anyway, but, you know, the chances of you going in every warehouse that you've ever done before.
I guarantee there's places like you said, a random warehouse you could probably go into that probably has something we've never seen. You know, just because why would you go in there? But there's a possibility is there.
In the docks as well. There's a place that's next to the cafeteria where the toys are and the darts machine, and next to it is what is effectively a break room, a restaurant area. I had never been in that. And I went in that because I was confused.
You've never been in there?
No, because there's nothing in there at all except a woman standing behind the desk who does dinner, and every so often some of the people come in and out. But I'd never been in there because there's no reason to. And I went in there because I thought I had to talk to people to try and get some information. You know, if you have to do it.
Yeah, that's a good spot to go. I'm pretty sure you can go in there to ask someone, and they do give you some information to one of the objectives.
But I was like, I've never been in before. Because obviously, whenever you're wasting time, you just go in the cafeteria. That's where the toys are. That's where the darts machine are. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a good one. But I don't have it. It was something similar, but it's more to do with the story, so I'll leave it. Well, I'm going to start mine from the beginning, effectively. And we're going to talk about the intro movie. So Shenmue, after you get through the main menu, begins with a very lengthy cutscene. A good 5 minutes long. Yeah. And it's brilliant. even playing it back now, I was like, this is a brilliant movie-like way of setting it up. It shows in 5 minutes character motivations, who the hero is, who the villain is, and gives all the emotional stakes. All the emotional stakes are there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool intro.
Yeah.
Father! Stay back, Mule. Get up. I'll allow you to die like a warrior. Father! Bendy-sama, we have it.
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, you get your hero, Rio. We see his emotional stakes of his father being killed. We don't know the depth of the relationship. That's fine. But we understand it's important enough for Rio to get back home and try and fight. And we meet the villain, Landy, and we see in an instant that he is powerful, strong.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's our story. Brilliant intro.
Yeah, it does. It sets up this epic tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. Well, talking about Rio's father,
okay,
and the relationship they have, and it not having much depth, there are a lot of optional scenes that you can find throughout the world, and you have to interact with certain objects to trigger them. This is one of my favourite ones. It's one of my favourite scenes in the entire game, actually. I've spoken about it
of course you have. You were talking about a flashback, yeah.
Yeah, it's a flashback, and it's if you interact with a small bowl of carrots in the kitchen of the Hazuki residence, it'll trigger this scene, and it's the scene between Rio and his father, where his father explains the values of, like, not wasting things, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a really powerful scene. I love the music that plays during it, and
Ryo, while you're still sleeping in bed, farmers are working hard in the fields, carefully picking carrots one by one. So how can you waste them like that?
Okay, I'll eat them.
Good. That's my boy.
it's a really important one. I think you shouldn't miss.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that as well, talking about the optional scenes. One of the achievements in the Xbox version, I presume PlayStation's got a trophy for it, forced me to find a scene I'd never seen before.
There's one by the cherry blossom tree.
No, cherry blossom tree, easy to find. It's the one inside the dojo. And you needed to look at a sign that's above the altar.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's true.
Starts in one with Rio as a kid, about being beaten up at school.
Yeah.
And it's all about, basically, it's about friends, keeping friends close. It's a real downer because the dad's basically like, I'm going to die one day, but your friends won't die quite as quickly, so keep them. And I'm like, all right, Dad, cheers. But I'd never seen it before, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I just love the simplicity of those scenes, you know, they're so simple, and it's just, they're really, like, quiet, and just scenes of Rio and his father together, and, like, gives you kind of a feeling of why Rio is the way he is. He's quite like a hard, emotionless character.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that his father was quite like that too. Didn't really give too much away, kind of thing. And he kind of was just teaching Rio lessons, and rather than like really talking to him, kind of thing.
I agree with that, and it's really interesting as well, because one of the things that develops over the story is that his father has a past. A huge past.
Yeah.
And we know next to nothing about it. And through those cutscenes, you kind of realise as well that, like, the man was a double lifer, and
Yeah.
it's like you get some hints towards that throughout the game.
Yeah.
Through those cutscenes, it's like, well, he still cared about his son. It's not like you need those really, but they are optional.
Yeah.
You may not come across them.
Yeah,
So I wonder how
exactly.
you'd feel
So-
if you didn't.
That's true. I mean, they shouldn't be missed if you do get an opportunity. You should definitely seek them out. But yeah, I think that's interesting. Like Rio didn't really get much from his father in that way. So like he is all like that's why when he learns all the certain things about his father's past and whatnot, the dark things and whatnot, that like yeah, it's a surprise to him because like he just didn't know anything about his father in that way. He probably thought he was just didn't yeah.
It's really odd. Advice would be basically if you're unsure of how to find cutscenes and stuff like that, just look at stuff.
Yeah.
In the house, around. Don't be afraid to look at stuff basically,
Yeah.
because that's how it'll trigger you. You ain't even got to interact necessarily. Just
Yeah.
sometimes look at something.
There's not like you can pick up a lot of things in the game that are pointless, but like it's not like you pick up like everything kind of thing. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of obvious when things are more important. I think like
I think so. Yeah.
the
What's
sign one is kind of like hard to come by, so the achievement was nice to point you towards. that.
yeah. I
But,
would never.
like-
I've never looked. Why would you ever look at
And
them?
then it's like, but why would you interact with the bullet carrots and whatnot? You know,
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, my next one is an obvious one. I'd be surprised if you don't have this. This might be our first doubling up, and it's something that impressed me as a youngster. It's the dynamic weather. We didn't really have games like this when it first came out, and we had dynamic weather that would change smartly as well. It wasn't like you'd go out and it'd rain, and then 2 minutes later it'd start snowing.
Yeah.
It flowed. You'd get up one day and snow would been. It'd already been.
Yeah.
We'd get up and it was a rainy day. Another day it would be nice and sunny. Some days it was cloudy. You could clearly tell where this weather changed. I always loved that. I always loved it.
Yeah, it felt like you're playing something that existed in the real world because we just never really seen that in a game. So it was so unique.
It really was, yeah. And how it affected the people as well. Raining, saw umbrellas come out. The
Yeah.
streets were a little quieter. That's awesome. Yeah.
Brilliant. So my one is quite a simple one because it's very cool. Shenmue is a life simulator. We are playing, you're in the shoes of Ryo Hazuki and you're going through the trials and tribulations that he goes through, and you develop your very own daily routine as Ryo.
You really do.
Something that mine might be completely different to yours necessarily. You might get up and get your allowance and go play toy capsules. I might get my allowance and do the objective kind of thing, and that's cool. That you have the freedom to choose what you want to do basically.
Was there ever anything you specifically did that you think like before you got the job and it was interrupted by having to go do that in the original? Was there anything you always sort of like, okay, I do this every day for whatever reason?
Well, obviously, with the original, I spent a lot of time with toy capsules because I just wanted to try and collect them all if possible. But I'd always kind of do the same things in Shenmue. My routine's kind of predictable. I'd always toy capsules and try and get winning cans from the drinks machine. If
Winning
possible.
fucking cans.
Got to try and do that and try and win on the raffle, which is definitely
Bullshit.
Rigged. I'm
Rigged,
pretty
mate.
sure on, the re-release, it's more rigged than ever. Yeah. I think I must have got like at least 20 winning cans. And, I only got like a fourth prize or something.
Yeah.
I think one time I remember I do know this happened once. I got the first prize, which you get a boombox.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, you get an actual boombox. You can have it in your home and you can play.
Which
tapes on it.
was it? Level 2 that had the Supersonic Metal Sonics. Whichever one had that. I know I had a Supersonic.
Yeah, I think that was like second prize.
Yeah.
One of them you can get like a game that you can take them and play on your Sega Saturn.
Ah.
You can get like Space Harrier, like an actual Sega
I remember.
Saturn, disc and take it home and you can play it because obviously you have the console at home that you can take out.
But you can't interact with it in the
like a
Xbox
game.
version.
Yeah, so
But the Dreamcast you can.
but they locked that quite hard behind a wall, which is like really hard to get them.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
yeah, I love the freedom of the game.
Right, my next one's it's quite a few actually in a sort of not silly way, but just kind of made me laugh, particularly on the replay value. So I'm gonna skip over that one and go to this one. The over-the-top characters, and I'm talking about the ones in particular who are loud and wacky. Now, there's voice acting and stuff like that is crazy in this game, but you get some perfectly fine ones, certain things. But I'm talking about the likes of Goro, if you remember Goro,
Of course, yeah.
who's what's the word for him? A greaser with a kind of Fond style haircut and stuff like that, and he shouts constantly.
Yo, dude!
Oh, you.
Seem a bit blue, my man? Got a problem? Then I'm your man!
Yeah, right.
Then there are the bikers that you often run into the Buito who try and interact with them. It's aggression from the moment they start.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to do two at once here, people. I'm going to do two because it ties into the next one. And the two punk-ass girls who give Rio shit, schoolgirls,
the worst
every time
ever.
he tries to talk to them.
Got a minute?
Huh? Hey, schoolboy!
Excuse me.
Huh? Who the hell you think you are?
Yeah.
They give him so much
so
shit.
awful,
I wanted to kick them so much. The bikers, fair enough, badasses.
Yeah,
These two girls are schoolgirls, and they're like, "Huh? What do you want?" And it's just like, "Fuck you, bitch," you know? Yeah, just there's so many. Try and interact with every character just to hear voices.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The game wouldn't be the same without its wacky voice acting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very over the top. Like, you know, Tom, of course,
Yeah.
at the hot dog stand, he's ridiculous. I mean, he's some Rastafarian.
Rastafarian in
Like-
1980s Japan.
Yeah.
It's selling hot dogs in a tiny village. How did he get there?
Yeah,
It's
like-
so fucking weird.
Fuke-san, you know.
Oh.
You know, they're
We'll-
all,
we'll
they're
get
all-
on to Fuke-san.
there's- yeah, a lot of unique characters in the game for sure.
Yeah.
That was one of mine, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Memorable for sure. The
Yes.
characters. Again, I'm sure you'll have this one. This is very predictable. I'm pretty sure we have it in all our top 10s, but it is for the music, of course.
Of course, but I don't have it.
Oh well.
I knew you'd have it, so I think I may have left it off.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be impossible to talk about Shenmue without mentioning the soundtrack.
Yeah.
The Japanese musical style was very different from everything else I was hearing at the time, so it stood out for that reason, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
Got that traditional Japanese style, you know, so...
We've said this about a couple of games in flashbacks and on these, where it's like it's memorable and it's great for what it is. It's not one I'd put on and then listen to relax to, or in a car or something like that.
Yeah.
But it is certainly something where it's like I associate it directly, be a specific piece of music for a cutscene or just a general moving around.
Just if you think about Shenmue and you like remember it in like a nostalgic way, like if I'm thinking of like a scene, I kind of the music goes with it. Like I couldn't just think of the scene and like have silence in my mind. I hear the music as well. Like I mentioned the carrot scene, there's a piece of music that plays in there. It's like really beautiful. I really like. And obviously the main Shenmue track. As
Of
well.
course, yeah.
You know, it's very memorable.
Yeah. Okay. The Brrraaains. I really love how it comes to drunken life at night.
Yeah.
As when the Brrraaains gets sleazy. That little town gets sleazy. There are drunks staggering down the streets. Look out for the guy in the yellow
I'm
shirt.
not surprised there's like 50 bars there.
Yeah, all these bars open up.
So many.
And for ages, when I was younger, I'm such an idiot, and I apologise for even having to say this. I thought those women standing outside were prostitutes. They're not. They're just fucking greeters and trying to lure you in.
Yeah.
If you've ever been abroad, you know who these people are.
Yeah, of
They're just trying to lure you in with off.
Well, yeah, if you go in the places, they're like, usually dead because I'm not surprised. There's so many. Like, how do they get customers? That's why there's always There's always this one guy and he wears this like really hideous yellow sweater. Like,
That's it.
And he's always stumbling around.
That's
you can find
him.
him during the day sometimes, stumbling around.
The stumbling drunk guy.
Yeah, he's just always. I mean, the guy must have depression or something. I feel bad for him, but.
There's nothing else to do there, is there?
But
And
it is funny that like. Yeah.
it's just the way it just becomes something completely different, and all these sailors turn up and start drinking there, and I guess maybe because it's close to the docks, which is why.
Yeah.
Why it's
Bikers and stuff.
yeah, it's a hot spot basically.
Yeah, a
for
lot,
the
of,
go.
lot of good nightlife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, that's funny. Alright, so the toy capsules, you know, I mean, I mentioned it briefly how back in the day, spent a lot of time collecting them. You know, playing the re-release, I have no idea what possessed me to collect every single one of those, to be honest. Like you mentioned, like with the race at the docks and stuff, and how like you get a trophy in those.
Yeah.
And like I remember I used to always like I'd make sure I finished in fifth, first, you know,
One for
second,
each
third,
position.
so I get each one and get the whole collection and stuff. But now going back, obviously like the desire's not there as much. Maybe because I've done it before, like probably 2 or 3 times. But like I don't know. But yeah, I just think the toy capsules is a really cool like thing to put in there. The randomized nature of them makes getting the last few a bit of a real chore. But I just remember this from back in the day when I was younger. Like the only way we could track like which ones I had, I actually wrote down each new one I'd find, and then like each time I got one I'd tally up, kind of thing, how many I had and stuff like that.
Okay.
I had this notepad with all of them written out.
Nerd.
Yeah. That was all you could do back in the day. Though. We didn't have the internet and stuff, so
No, that's good.
I just think there's something hilarious about getting your like allowance from NA-san and like blowing it on these toys.
500 yen is
You're gonna
five
get
fucking
toys.
goals.
It's actually quite a rip-off if you think about it. Either that or NA-san's like holding back. Man.
She's holding back, man.
Cheapskate, like,
500 yen. What's that gonna do?
You get 5 drinks from the drinks machine.
No, yeah, I think like cat food, cat steaks
Oh, yeah.
cost 500 yen.
Yeah.
She's probably you can't get lunch and feed the cat.
No, but
You know?
you could just feed the cat milk every time and you can get 5 milks.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
something. Or just take it from the fridge because there's stuff in the fridge.
That's true.
Okay. Again, don't have that one.
But where does he put
Amazing.
them, man? Where does Rio put the toy capsules?
Check the pockets.
He always goes, "What's this?" And then back there, man.
Back.
Those
Yeah.
jeans.
Those jeans are so
They're
tight.
so tight. Exactly. Doesn't make any sense.
All right, you might have this one, but I'm putting it in for a different kind of reason, in the sense that combat. I praise combat because unlike this game didn't probably have to do it this way. I think combat, particularly playing it this time, where I actually struggled with a lot of fights. There was 2 at the end where the only way I found, well, basically I had to cheat almost. I ran around in circles, get my health back up, punch. Because they were too fucking hard. It was the big fella, the massive guy you fight at the harbour, punches so hard, and you mad monkey man.
What, in the arcade?
No, arcade I lost the fight. I was happy to lose the fight. It is what it is. The fight at the docks, where you have to win.
Yeah.
And he's so difficult.
It is a real
so
challenge.
fucking
There's
difficult.
definitely something to the combat where like that you could be genuinely skilled at it because there's a lot of moves you can learn in the game.
That's it. That's what I'm praising. The
So,
fact that
like-
you can get good at it by learning
Yeah.
and using skill.
Yeah.
Did you? Because for example, one of my go-to moves was back kick, and he'd do a sort of swing, really fast backwards swing kick
Yeah.
that would catch him in the head.
Yeah.
Really good.
Mine's always just the running like spin kick.
Oh yeah,
That's always
of course.
my go one.
Yep.
But no, yeah, there's a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those battles are quite tough. Like especially the very final battle where you fight like 100 people. Like running away and getting your health back is the best.
And your man,
Best thing to do
what's
there.
his name, is so fucking useless at this. He'll just go off and fight someone else,
Yeah.
leaving you fighting 5 or
Yeah,
6.
squeeze on. Yeah.
Quizon, that's it. Yeah. Okay, that was it. Yeah,
Alright,
combat.
Cool. So there's a thing that happens in the game where you discover this hidden passage in the dojo, and it's always something I really enjoy. I thought was really cool because
Yep.
it's got this really air of like mystery behind it. And again, it's to do with the whole thing with Ryo's father. And it's
Yep.
like at the same time he's discovering, he's like, "What the hell's this?" Like below my house in this dojo the whole time, in this mysterious place that his father's like skulked down to at night and stuff like that. And again, it shows Ryo that he really had no idea who his father was.
Yeah.
And he finds these photos and stuff of his father younger with these people and stuff like that. And it's really cool. And then he finds obviously that hidden spot where the Phoenix mirror is.
Yep.
He has to break it open with the back of the axe, and it's just like a lot of mystery in that. I thought it was cool.
I'm gonna jump in and describe this now because this is really fresh in my memory. I haven't done it quite recently. And what you just summed up. It's one of my favourite sequences as well. And the process to even find it shows you how mysterious it is. It involves finding 2 specific things. One's a sword guard, and one is the sword itself. They go into 2 slots that are hidden behind 2 scrolls. Take them off, the door will be able to be open. What I love when you first open that and when you first into it is the dust that's in the air. It's visually the torch. The camera angle for the torch that swings round
Yeah.
picks up this dust. Hasn't been used in a long time. Loved it. You go down to this basement and all that, and at first it's just nothing but old keepsakes. You got to look in a mirror to then see something stuck
Yeah.
on the other side of a table,
Yeah,
and
like
then you notice scrape marks.
getting mirrors like effective in games, especially in those days, was not easy. So to have that reflection stuff that you can actually see must have been really like, a lot
Yeah.
of work went into that.
And when you find what it is, when you finally get it, and you're like, oh, we've got the mirror, like that, like what's Landy's after and stuff like that. It feels quite.
It's a bit of a holy shit moment when
Yeah.
you're like, here it actually is, bloody hell.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is it.
But it's in the whole thing also. It just has this kind of creepy vibe to it, like what are you gonna find type of thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like you. Yeah, as you said. Oh, who is this man really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also makes use of the, you know, you might collect candles or buy matches and a light bulb. And it actually makes use of those. You can screw in the light bulb into it to brighten up the room, where
Yep.
you can put in fresh candles and light them with matches and stuff. And yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. All right, simple one. My favourite thing to do in Shenmue to waste time. It's what I always did during my 2 hour lunch break. 2-hour lunch break.
That is very generous.
I couldn't believe he got a 2-hour lunch break every day, but at 2
He
hours.
sits down all day as it is in his forklift. So.
2-hour lunch break. I would
doesn't
go.
eat.
Yeah,
he doesn't eat.
Oh no, mind you, the first part of that is always him sitting with those guys apparently eating.
They're eating. They have like trays, I'm pretty sure. But then I don't know, is Rio just sitting there?
I'm sure he's got a tray. I can't remember now.
It's because he fills up on drinks from the drinks machine.
Yeah. Ah, good. It's the dart game. The dart game. I will spend all my money and time on that. I fucking love it. That is the best. It's so fucking, he's drunken sailor.
His form, like that's not the best way to like shoot for darts, is it? Maybe keep your hands still, Rio.
Hey, not too bad. All right.
Give it like an even like action. Like
Yeah,
that.
just
Yeah, the other one though, where he's like, it's like hilarious.
The hyper blue one where it's just that.
That's much easier actually. Like, I got a
It
crazy
is.
high score on that one because like as soon as his hands like that, then
You will always get 100. Yeah.
But then Rio is so robotic, so I'm not surprised he does that. The way
Yeah.
he picks up things is like this. This is Rio. Like, he's such a robot, and then he like like one of those mechanical hands like in Resident Evil where they pick up the thing. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
robotic hands.
Yeah, okay,
like,
I know what you're on about. Yeah. But yeah, darts is my favourite thing. If it wasn't that, it's the QTE punching game that gets crazy difficult. Lot of fun. Darts.
Lots of fun mini games.
Yeah.
For sure. Spent a lot of time with darts. Okay, so just having a job was like an interesting thing in a game. Like never did that before. It was quite revolutionary at the time. Whether or not you enjoyed it was up to you, but I thought forklift driving and doing the whole moving the crates back and forth was quite a lot of fun, and it's probably the most fun I've ever had with any job. That moving those crates around.
It's been my best job. I will say that. That has been my best job.
Yeah,
it's better than what I do now. So way more fun.
Imagine like being told you met quota every day and getting a raise every day.
The only thing I would say, again, I haven't played it recently. They are way too generous with that quota.
That's true.
8 crates, do like double that.
That's because they know people are just skiving off, man. Just talking like they always like see Mark just like walking around the harbour like, why are you not? What are you doing, Mark? You're supposed to be in a forklift, aren't you?
I'd always. So basically, one of the hardest parts of the job is getting around and dodging fucking obstacles of people who are just what I spent more time screwing. My wife would be watching me, and I'm screwing at the people who block my path. Why? It's a workplace. Why are you walking around? Why is there a cat here? Why is Mark standing at the edge of the dock at work time doing that? Your brother isn't just swimming out there, mate. He's dead. God. But yeah.
They got a cat problem in that harbour.
They do.
They do.
Very good.
And a gang problem as
well.
Yeah.
The gang thing. Apparently, it hits 9 o'clock. Even though there's loads of guards around, and the gangs just own it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best thing. I showed my wife this. I was like showing her Rio walking around, asking everybody where Mad Angels are. And I was like, watch this. Walked up to this guard, Mad Angels. Guard's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I turned him to the left. On this massive door is a spray painted Mad Angels, and I'm like, maybe look behind there, Rio. Maybe look behind there.
That is literally where they are as well. Though.
That's exactly where they come out of.
I know.
Jesus.
Oh well. But having a job was like interesting.
It was
fun.
different. I'd never had that in a game before.
No.
Yeah, because this is way before. All right, the games did exist that had it, and to a degree, on the N64, on Harvest Moon and stuff like that. But my first experience with that game was GameCube, as was yours, I presume.
True. Yeah.
So it was our first experience of doing a job.
I just thought it's part of the grind that Rio has to go through. He's trying to find information, but then it's like, he has to do this stupid job where he has to like kind of go undercover to find out more information and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It all adds to like that feeling of the game where like you can feel Rio's frustration in that type
and when you lose it makes sense why you lose your job.
Yeah.
You get fired because basically you're drumming up too much trouble.
Yeah, they're scared of this gang. So,
Yeah. Okay, I've actually got 3 more left, and they're actually a little bit serious ones. Stealth parts. Now, normally in a game that isn't about stealth at all, I wouldn't praise here, but I actually like Shenmue's stealth parts because they're short and they actually add variation to the gameplay at a point when it was always needed. I felt when it's like, okay, this is important. Sneak into the warehouse. Well, it's a pain in the ass to find, and it's easy to fail.
Oh yeah.
It's just an extra added. Oh, cool. You know, didn't something different.
Yeah.
You know,
that was
didn't mind it.
Interesting to throw in there. You know, whether or not like it's like that effective and fun. I mean, like sneaking into the warehouse, like you can have a proper nightmare there.
You can.
I mean, obviously, like it's funny because they know that it is quite challenging, because eventually, if you fail enough times, the old guy there, he'll give you like a map to actually show you the direction and the way to go. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, first he gives you a map of just the warehouses, and then like if you screw up more, he'll eventually like, all right, give it back. I'll draw on it like an arrow. Like literally, that's what happens.
Wow.
I remember I like used to fail so hard that I wouldn't get there till Christmas sometimes. It would start snowing and stuff, and I just think it's so hilarious that you can keep going back and the same guard keeps throwing you out.
Like, stop coming in here.
It's just like so funny.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, no, it's cool that they added that in, because didn't have to. You know?
No, that's the thing.
All right, well, talking about snow and Christmas, of course. Christmas in the game is awesome. You know, like seeing Deguita transform. I just love when you pass through the towns and seeing the lights up and go past the Market store and hearing the music.
The Christmas music, yeah.
And seeing Santa Claus walk through the street, even though I'm pretty sure he's just trying to sell something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like cool to see that happen. Like, who doesn't love Christmas, man?
I will admit that playing it recently, I finished it way quick before Christmas, and I remember thinking to myself, should I delay it? Should I just hold on and wait till that time, because just for the nostalgia kick, you know?
Excuse me? Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Yes? What is it?
It is. It's one of my favourite. When I think of Christmas and video games, there are certain things that come to mind, like Banjo-Kazooie. What's that game called where you play the kids who pretend to be robots, power-ups, Power Ranger style stuff? Indie game. Grubbins and Ice. It's the DLC is Grubbins and Ice. It's a Christmas one version of it. Costume Quest.
Oh yes.
Costume Quest. Yes. These are the and Shenmue. These are the games I think of when I think of Christmas games, and I always think of Shenmue, even though it's in nowhere a Christmas game.
Yeah, just
I think of it.
The simplicity of the fluorescent Christmas lights in the distance and the music and the snow and just running through that dead weird town, man. It's just a beautiful moment.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my second last one is about main character. It's about Rio. Ultimately, I do think this, and playing it again recently, I think it too. He's a good lead character. He's likable and he's nuanced. He's detailed. He's a bit of an emotionless guy, but it is there.
You can sense the complexity, like in him, like I said about with his father, and how he kind of is a bit like his father. You know, where he doesn't like show his emotions, but you can feel he's feeling stuff deep, and you can tell. You know,
I always get the impression that it's bubbling away inside him. I think the part where he struggles the most, obviously, is sharing his feelings with Nozomi. But that's by the by. That is what it is.
Well, that's what you always forget. Obviously, when playing as Rio, no matter the actions he does, makes him seem a lot older than he is. He's only just turned 18, I believe.
He's a teenager.
He's contending with so many things. He's trying to hunt down the murderers of his father.
He ain't got time for love.
Yeah,
basically.
Clearly not.
But he also does something that he does show emotion to one character in particular. Frustration with fucking Fuxon. But we'll get to him in the hate video.
There are times when he does like let his frustration come out when he people aren't giving him the answers he wants. Stuff like that. He shows that he has a lot of anger welled up within him. You know?
Ooh, no, you brought up. Thank you. I didn't write it down, but he reminded me. Another reason why I love him as a character, and again, it was something that came to me this time more than I did when I was younger. He is a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Through and through. I was like, and it's the warehouse fights, and they'll come and pick at him, and there'll be 8 people, and Rio will be like, get the fuck out of my way, and they'll be like, oh, schoolboy this, schoolboy that. Rio just go, all right then, and beat them up, and it's just like, you guys are. The same guy got beaten up by me like 10 times. Pink shirt, blonde hair.
God, they're hilarious.
And it's just like, he's not scared of you.
No, he chases them through the streets and stuff.
Like he will kick your ass constantly. You know?
It's true, they try and fuck with him and he just like brushes it off and is like, okay, let's fight them.
And wins.
And then he wins.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, okay. Jesus, guys, yeah. Great character. Great character.
Oh no! Ah!
That's enough.
Huh?
Damn! Don't think you can get away with this.
Yeah.
You know, talking about Rio, I mean, obviously we think you might have touched on it, but the voice acting in the game, I just think Shenmue wouldn't be the same without his hokey English voice work. You know? Gives the whole thing a cheesy B-movie vibe. But I think the game as a whole has that sort of like Japanese B-movie type.
With a kind of bad dubbing / translation.
Yeah. I think Rio himself is talking about Rio, like some of his lines was downright hilarious. You know, his unenthusiastic reactions and his robotic nature, you know, to certain things. Some of my favourites that he says, just when he says "I see" to things a lot, like he says it in such a way that you can tell like he's pissed. But, like,
I see. Yeah, I can hear it.
You know, when he responds to someone, or like when he gets a toy that he like apparently really wants, he'll say, "Great, I won." And it's like, are you really happy about that? Are you pissed that you just spent like $2,000 on these toys? And who can forget the best one of all? Ah, good.
Of course. I'm glad you said it. That was the one in my head every single time.
Ah, good.
Who says that when they've drank something like a delicious beverage or something?
It's what makes it worse for me is the fact that he will stand in the same spot, down that entire can in 2 gulps.
I love his face when he's saying he looks in pain.
Yeah, it's like he's getting that brain freeze.
It's the carbonation, man. It can't be good. It must gonna get some serious gas off.
Oh God, yeah, that's so his. Yeah. But the thing is, he also has great moments. His when his father dies in his arms, the no he cries, the no is really well done.
Yeah.
So you know, it's like it's bad.
His anger, like at the end when I think you fight Terry, the main the manager, he says that we're gonna come after like your friends and family and stuff like that, and he says like that's it, and he punches him like really hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's like really angry. You can feel like he has that passion, you know. And obviously like people have mocked his voice acting and stuff and the voice actor, but yeah, there's certain moments where he did get it right with things like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That will never be a criticism. I'll criticize voices, but not Rio's.
Yeah.
No way. All right, my last one. And it's just generalising really for the game. It was one I was saying you kind of touched upon at the start, but mine was more story. It still feels like that game on its own, an epic, and ends in a way that is correct. It's an understandable ending.
Yeah.
Leaving. That's how you end. That's an end of series scene.
Yeah. Like you said, if you think about it in like terms of like the game being written in volumes, that's like end of volume 1. It ends great. Like, and I love that. I love the ending of him getting on the ship. And the whole the monologue of the narrator saying about the legend of a hero coming from across the sea and stuff like that. It just feels like, and the music, and it pans away of like the ship going, and it's just so epic. You know?
And not only that as well. At that point as well, Tom had left, Nozomi had left.
Yeah.
You know, he'd broken the gang effectively. His world had changed. The world was changed. The town wasn't going to be the same anymore. Anyway, it was. As you said, end of volume 1.
Yes.
Come back for volume 2.
Yeah, like I said, all these people, his friends, certain friends had moved on and stuff like that. His family was kind of fractured, so he like didn't have that much to stay for, so it made a lot of sense, you know. Yeah. But I'm done as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Then there's our 10 things we love about Shenmue. I actually had a lot of fun with that one. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with the 10 things we hate, because that's some funny stuff in there. Yeah. Make sure you check it out. Check out the other content, of course. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button.